So in today's video, I thought it would be fun to take you guys through 10 essential things that I use every single day. Now I know you've seen some of these videos made where it's, things that they might use here and there and, it's essential to some people. And that's fine, those videos are still fun to watch, but these things are 10 things that I use every single day. And I didn't put any budget for this, so some of them are more on the expensive side, but most of these things are all under $100. So they're also very affordable things that you can use in your everyday filmmaking, in your content creation, in your office, all of that stuff. Oh, and shout out to Tom Buck, one of my favorite YouTubers, for the inspiration for this video. He had a similar video a couple weeks ago where he did the most affordable gear. I know there's a bunch of these videos out on YouTube, but he had the most recent one, so I wanted to give him a shout out as well because I love watching his channel. He's great, so check that video out as well. Okay, back to the video. Let's just get right into it. This is going to be more of a relaxed kind of video, as few cuts as possible. We're just going to kind of talk, and I'm going to run you guys through all the different things I use. So to get us started, the Vocaster One interface. The Vocaster One audio interface, as you can see on all our different angles here. This thing is awesome. This thing I really thought about buying for a little while because I have the Rode Procaster 2, which I do use and I do like a lot. But the thing about this Vocaster One that's so awesome is that it's the perfect like single one-man band type of interface. And I would often use the Procaster and I would have it on my desk or I'd have it next to my desk, and it was just so big and cumbersome that it just took up so much space. I kind of started to not like using it, but it's such a great piece of equipment that I continued using it until I found this, because this thing is perfect to just set on your desk. It's one XLR input, but you also have different inputs here where you can attach it to a camera, you can attach it to your phone, or you can hook up a phone line so that way you can take incoming calls or you can play audio through your phone. So it is like a full kind of one-man band mixer that you can use for multiple different purposes, but it's just so compact and convenient and it's perfect. It just sits on my desk and I absolutely love using it. And the awesome part about it is I believe it has 70 decibels of clean gain. And I currently just use a Shure SM58. It's what I've used for podcasts and audio and everything for 5-6 years now. And it's a good microphone. I would like to upgrade at some point, but it's what I have now. And so for what I have now, this thing here actually gets way cleaner gain than the Rode Procaster 2, which has pretty good gain and a pretty good preamp in it already. But the noise floor does seem to get affected a decent amount when using a microphone that requires more gain, like the SM58, the Shure SM7B, any of those dynamic microphones that need more gain, are more gain hungry. It just seems that the Vocaster does a lot better job at reducing that noise floor, and you can definitely hear it in the recording that there's just a lot more fuzziness and static because of the preamps trying to drive the gain when you use the Procaster as compared to using this Vocaster One. So I'll show it off to the camera one more time, get our different looks here. It's my favorite piece of gear as far as audio goes. So this is, I started the list with this because this might be the thing. I didn't really rank them as far as, in terms of what I think is most useful, but this might be the winner. So I started with this one because I absolutely love it. I've had it for about 6-7 months now, and I really do use it pretty much every day. If I'm not recording something with it, I use it to play audio through and everything. It's just my main mixer interface hub for my computer, and it's awesome. So next on our list, we have these bad boys. Now these are the Govee Smart LED bulbs. You might not be able to see in this angle very well. We'll pull it up into our other the Govee Smart LED bulbs. These things are awesome. I currently have one in that lamp back there, which I absolutely love having it in there. Adds a nice bit of a pop of color to, which I should actually have on right now. Let me go turn that. I forgot to turn that on before we started recording. As you can see, this is a very informal video here. But so I have one of these in there right now, and the other three, because it comes in a box of 4 for $40. Oh, I also forgot to mention with the Focusrite, that interface is $150, which I think is a really, really good deal for the interface that it is. Anyways, back to these. These, the rest of them are currently in the overhead lights in this room, just your normal overhead room lights. And I think that these are awesome for multiple different reasons. One, they bring a really nice, warm, kind of just cozy light to them when they're just set to like the normal 3200 warm light mode. It seems like they're better than something like these that I replace them with, just your normal standard bulbs. So they give off a really nice, clean, warm light. But the other thing that's great about them is they're smart LED bulbs. So what you can do with them is if you go into your Govee app, you can see on here, you go into your Govee app and you can simply just tap the add button, searches for nearby devices. Obviously, I already have them connected now. But then once they're connected, all you do, go into here, and we can just change to any different color that we want to. So if I want to, say, take this and make it a cool light, it changes to a cool light. Bring that back to the warm light. I can even change it to different colors if I want to. Put some red in there, put some purple in there, whatever you're feeling. If you want to get adventurous, a little bit of teal, you can do all of that. And then, you know, if you want to just go back to the standard warm 3200, it looks great. And you can, if you get the Govee app and you create a Govee profile, you can save all these colors so that way they're all there and ready for you. And I think that's just so useful. And you know, it's not the fanciest thing, it's not the most attractive thing, you know, it's not tech necessarily, so it's not gonna garner all the, you know, the buzz around it. But I think lighting is awesome. Lighting makes a huge difference in what you do, and it's also fun just to have little pops of color here and there, even if you're not recording a video or anything like that. If you're just, you know, working in your office or whatever, it's cool to have a little bit of pop of color and the control to change that to whatever you want to, depending on the mood. So these are awesome. I love them. You get a box of 4 for $40, and I think that's absolutely worth its value. So next, what do we have? We have the Architect lamp that is currently in the background right there. I was going to bring it up here, but that's too much hassle. So I'll probably just throw some B-roll over top of this, a little bit of B-roll to show it off a little bit more. But that lamp was $40. It's awesome. It's an Architect lamp, so it has the bending arms that can kind of move in any different position, which is great because it serves multi-purposes. I can have it on my desk back there, and I can, you know, have it like it is right now, facing the wall if I want to bounce the light off the wall. When my desk is raised up a little bit more, I can have it dropped down on top of the plant and give a nice little pop of color to the plant. And then, you know, you can do anything with it because it essentially goes 360, the arm bounces up and down. You can do whatever you want with it. So that thing is awesome. And I think lighting, I wanted to talk about lighting a little bit while I put this back. I think lighting is not just important and essential, but I think it's something that people overlook a lot because lighting can, you know, shape the environment. And so it's not just having it by your desk and enjoying it while you're working at your computer or whatever. Excuse me, it's also, you know, if you're shooting a video, bringing practicals in like we have right there and making the environment just look a lot more fun. And I think that's something that's overlooked a lot. Practicals are so useful in filmmaking, and I know People don't always think about that, but I love them. I think they're very valuable, and so that's why it's on my list. Not the flashiest thing, but I love it. $40 from Amazon by a company called LE Power, I believe. So, and next we have this monstrosity, which is a $150 bag. It's barely going to fit on my desk. I don't know which angle is going to be best to display this thing. But this is a bag by Arco. It's $150. It's I forget what the gallons are, but as you can see here, hopefully we can get this in the top down. It is absolutely massive. It has these little dividers that come with it that just Velcro, and so you can move them around if you want to. This is the way it came arranged, except for this little pocket right here I put for another lens. But this is basically how it comes, and it's awesome because I was looking for a bag essentially because I have a nice, not an actual Pelican case, not the brand Pelican, but a Pelican case made by another brand that I'm forgetting right now. But that's great and all. It's super secure. It holds my gear and everything like that. But what it doesn't do very well is I have my big camera rig, which I'm currently using right here, so you can't see it. But it's my, my everyday filmmaking camera rig that's got all these different attachments on it. It's got quick release plays, it's got this and that. And so it's pretty tall, and it won't fit in that thing, in that case, if I just drop it in. And that's what I was really looking for, is something that I could use to just take my camera when I'm going to a shoot, plop it in, because I have everything attached to it that needs to be there. It's not used for any other purposes really. So having it just be able to plop in and go right away, pull it out of the bag when you get to the shoot and just start shooting, not having to take time to connect attachments and spend all that time fidgeting around, is crucial for me. I really enjoy just being able to get there and go. So this bag was awesome because this bag allows me to do that. As you can see here, I just plop my camera directly in here and put all my stuff around it. It's got plenty enough room. It's padded well enough to, give me some level of security. It's not obviously as good as a hard case, but if you're being pretty careful and you're just going from shoot to shoot, this thing definitely does the job. And for $150, with camera gear being as expensive as it is, taking the time to properly store and secure that gear, I think, will obviously make it last longer and make it to where it's just a little bit of an insurance policy, and I think that's super valuable. So that's this Arco. It's the V55G rolling bag if you're looking for it on Amazon. And I'll put links to all these products down in the description as well, so you can find them directly. But yeah, if you're looking for a bag, you can't go wrong with this. So next, what do we have on our list? We have, a daily planner. So right now, I just have this super generic green, no logos or anything. I can't even remember what the company is. Just ordered it off of Amazon. But a daily planner, I think, is super, super important for productivity and for accountability and just keeping on track with things that you're doing. I use this every single day, and regardless of whether or not I would be creating content or anything like that, I would still use this in my everyday life. So this is something that you can take not just from a filmmaker's perspective, but somebody who just wants to kind of optimize their life as much as possible. And the great thing about this one, why I like this one specifically, is that it has every single day, I don't know if that's the best way to show it, has every single day lined out, so that way you have your hour by hour, which I really enjoy, because it's like a Google Calendar, which I still use for some things. But I like being able to write it down because I think it helps me remember more, and I like being able to pull this out during the day and kind of check in on things and see what's coming up next. So this one's great because it goes hour by hour, and then you have your notes, ideas, your to-do list, your priorities, and it's super fun to just have this, pull it out, check things off, and just, have something to reference and keep you accountable, because you know, if you're anything like me, I am easily distracted. I have a million things going on in my mind at all times. And so having something where I can just, you know, whip this out if I have a thought, if I have an idea for a video, or just, you know, something I need to do later, grab this, take it, jot something down, and move on to whatever you need to do, and then pull it back out later, and you're good to go. So this thing is super, super valuable. 25 bucks on Amazon. You can obviously get ones that are super cheap that are 7 to 10 bucks, but I like this one the way that it was structured, and it's got a nice hardcover and just seems like it's going to last a little bit longer. So that's why I got this one, but get whatever you feel like works for you. All right, so what do we have next? Next we have, which I actually forgot to take off earlier, so I'm going to take off now. Definitely not the most professional way to do this, and maybe we'll make a cut, maybe we won't, but the Elgato Stream Deck. This thing, if it'll focus on it, this thing is awesome because even if you're not a gamer or anything like that, which is obviously, you know, what these are mostly used for, people who stream, given the name Stream Deck, obviously. It's super useful for multi-functions. I just plug this thing into my PC or into my computer, set it on my desk, have all my little shortcuts and commands on it, and I use it all the time because it's not just for streaming. I do use it for some streaming things. This one has 15 keys, so you have a decent amount of space to kind of program it for different purposes, if you will. But what I use this thing for mostly is for commands on my computer. So like I use it to like stop start media, to turn the volume down, to skip on Spotify, to go to the next song, all that kind of stuff. And there's even more that you can do with it. Like I know you can even use this for like macro functions for like essentially if you were to replace, like if you had a streamer, like a ATEM Mini or something like that, you can use this and program different things into it. And you can also, if you use other Elgato products, you can, like if you have the Elgato key lights or anything, you can use it to like turn them on and off. Basically, I think anything in the realm, I'm not sure exactly how deep, if it's everything, but if it connects via Bluetooth or Wi-Fi, you can put it on here and you can control it, which is just super, super good to not have to go into the settings all the time and find things. You can just have this thing, click a couple buttons, and it's just super useful. I'll probably throw some B-roll over me talking about this that shows it in action on my desk. And shows the different little keys that I have on it right now. But this thing for 150 bucks, it's definitely lower on the list as far as essential, but it's something I use every single day and I absolutely don't regret getting. And I have even thought about getting another one for this setup that I have here and just slapping it on and being able to use it, because I don't like to necessarily take this one off my desk, because as you can see, I forget that it's there because it's just so nice and tucked in. It's perfect right there. So that is the Elgato Stream Deck, 150 bucks. I think is a great value. Next, what do we have? Next is the PGY Tech card sleeve. It's not actually called the card sleeve. It's called, let me get this accurate here. Let me get exactly what it's called. It is called the PGY Tech CreateMate High-Speed SD Card Reader. And essentially what that means is this is a SD card sleeve. You can put your SD cards in it, micro SDs, normal size SDs. You can put them all in there and just collapses into a nice little package here. Comes right out. And then also, if we take this cable out here, you can use it, pull it out, and you can use it as a card reader as well. And I believe it does 1,000 megabytes a second, if I'm remembering that correctly. Whatever it is, it's fast. I used this on a shoot recently where I didn't want to bring a whole bunch of stuff, and obviously my MacBook doesn't have an SD card reader, so I used this, and I was able to transfer like 40 gigs of footage, you know, almost instantly. So this thing, if you want to bring this on the go, like if you're going, in fact, actually when we went on our honeymoon last year to Cannon Beach in Seattle, I brought this with me, and I took I think like 2,000 or 3,000 photos one day. So whatever, 15, 20 gigs of data. Had this with me. I was able to keep the SD cards in here, use the reader, plug it into my computer, good to go. And for $40 is what this is. I think this is a really good value for your money because it essentially does 2 or 3 different things all in one. So you don't have to worry about having, if you have 2 or 3 different SD card cases lying around, this one is pretty much enough to have all that you need. It has 8 or 6 different slots for micro SDs. If I can get it to show in this one. 6 different slots for micro SDs, 4 different slots for normal size SDs. So depending on what you're doing, you might need more slots for data. But if you're just going traveling or something like that, 4 should be enough. So I would highly recommend this thing. All right, what do we got next? We have the PGY Tech quick release system. And so this isn't one product in particular. This is actually, as I said, the system of products. But I wanted to kind of talk about that for a second because I think it's super, super valuable to have a system of quick releases that's all in the same ecosystem, so that way it's on all of your devices, so you can easily just click in, pop out, move on to the next thing, click into something else, whether that be these little camera mounts that I have this camera on this arm on this desk, whether it's on my big full-size small rig tripod, whether it's on, any number of different things that you can use a quick release for. On my cameras, I have them on all my cameras, my photo camera, my video camera. It's just a super, super useful thing to have. And what I also have is this little beetle clip, which attaches directly to your backpack. So you have your backpack strap. Let's just pretend I'm wearing a backpack right now. Here's the strap. You just attach this thing directly, clip it on, and then the quick release just slides right in, pops in, and it's actually, I was surprised to figure out, because I took this on our trip, on our honeymoon as well. So I took this around everywhere we were walking, traveling around Seattle and Cannon Beach, and I really put it to use, or I really put it to good use. And I was surprised to know that, because I was kind of worried about this locking in here and the camera being too heavy and pulling it down off my backpack. But no, this locking system here, this quick release locking system, is strong enough to where my camera would just sit fine and it wouldn't pull my backpack shoulder down. I didn't feel like it was, insecure and that it would potentially get knocked off or anything. Like you can see, this thing it's stuck in there. So for $69, I would really highly recommend this. You can get this little, not the base plate, but the camera plate. Actually, I think you can get 2 base plates and a camera plate for $65. And then, like I said, this Beetle quick release is $69. So I think a good value for money. Whether you get this one from PGY Tech, I know that Peak Design has them. I know there's other companies. I think Small Rig has some. Ulanzi has their own quick release system. Whatever it is, whatever you prefer, just get a quick release system, invest in it, and you will not regret it because it makes your life so much easier just being able to pop things on and off and know that they all have the same connections, so you don't have to worry about taking out your screwdriver and putting on different camera plates and everything. It just makes your life a whole heck of a lot easier. So that's this. We only got a couple things left on here. What do we have next? We have okay, so this one isn't actually going to be able to pick up and put on the desk. It's very, very heavy, and you could probably see a little bit of it in this angle here. It is the Husky Workbench. I think it's actually called a rolling cabinet. And I'll throw some B-roll over top of this because there's no way I'm going to try to move this in front of the camera. But it's awesome. It has one massive drawer at the top. It's got a workbench surface on top, which is right now is just full of camera gear, but you can actually use it for, staging your camera, putting attaching attachments to your camera and all that kind of stuff. You can use it for whatever you want, but it's got the main big drawer on top, 3 drawers on each side, smaller, kind of thinner drawers, about a couple inches deep. And then it's got 2 super deep drawers on either side of it, which is where when my big Lumix S5 2X camera isn't in the Arco bag going to a shoot or something like that, I just pull it out of the Arco bag, slap it into there, and it's safe and secure. And I have all my camera lenses in one, I have my cameras in another, and it's awesome. And it doesn't collect dust at all. I've dusted the outside of it multiple times since I've had it for about a year now. And every time I pull it open, the cameras themselves or whatever is inside the drawers have no dust on them. So again, kind of going back to the bag thing, when you have camera equipment that's so expensive, having that security to keep it safe, I think is just worth its weight in gold. So that's the Husky workbench. That was $400, so definitely a pricier item, but if you can afford it, I think it's definitely worth picking up. And you can just get them at Home Depot. I know there's knockoffs that you can buy at like Harbor Freight and stuff. Those might be good as well. Never tried them, but having a big rolling cabinet workbench thing is super, super valuable. Okay, we only have 2 more left, technically 1 left if you're counting along with me of the 10. But then I have another little add-on that when I was putting this together, or when I was setting this video up, I come to find these things and I was like, I need to throw this on the list as well. So the last thing, also not going to pick this up because it's currently back there in the backdrop. Probably can't see it. Not really. My Mac Studio. And the reason why this is on the list, because it's obviously not an inexpensive item. It was $1,700. When I was a student, I was able to use the student discount, the education discount on Mac's website. But for $1,700, and I bought the Max M1 Max. Let me say that again. The Mac M1 Max with 32 gigs of RAM, 10-core CPU, 24-core GPU. So the lower end of the two, because there's the Max and then there's Ultra. And I bought it in 2022 when the M1 came out. So now I think there's an M2 and also soon to be an M3 Mac Studio coming out as well. So this one's kind of outdated at this point, but the great thing about it is it's nowhere close to being like outperformed. I often will shoot things in H.2.65 or HEVC, which I think is just a better codec than H.264. But the thing about it is it's really compressed, so it's hard to use on a lot of PCs and computers because of all the data stored in that compressed file. But that Mac Studio absolutely rips through 265 footage, and it's the same with it's formatted for H.265 for ProRes. Let me pull this up on my H.264, HEVC, ProRes, Apple ProRes, ProRes RAW, all of that. It's set up to be able to just absolutely rip through it, and it still does. The only thing I ever have an issue with for that computer is when I'm editing or I'm rendering or putting together super complex graphic templates or titles, graphic things, anything like that. It doesn't rip through it as quickly as I thought it would. Even though it's got the 24-core GPU, it still, for whatever reason, wants to kind of push the power towards the CPU. And now obviously that could be user error, but I've tried everything I could find as far as like the distribution of putting the GPU first in Premiere and in After Effects and everything like that. So obviously there could be something I'm still doing wrong, but it just doesn't seem to rip through graphic files as quickly as quickly as I wanted it to. Still works with them really well. If you're scrubbing through on the timeline, it's still, it's a little choppy. There's some drop frames here and there, but that's for graphics only. When you were talking about files, H.265, it just rips through it like butter. So Mac Studio, absolutely would recommend that. And you can even get that one now for a lot cheaper. And I would still think it's somewhat future-proofed. Probably it's getting close to being, like, don't get me wrong, I'm gonna have that computer for probably 5, 6, 7 years. Okay, camera died. Well, actually, camera didn't die. I'm using the Lumix S5 I as my main cam here. And I knew it had a 30-minute record limit, but I thought that it cut off the recording and continued recording. But no, it just straight cuts off the recording. So, as I was just saying, I think the Mac Studio will be future-proof for a long time. You can get obviously the M2 now, and there's even the M3 coming out soon, I believe. So, but for the price of that computer, I think it's still well worth the money. So that's it for that. The last thing I had, which is technically an add-on to this list, are these little mic thread adapters. These things are awesome. They are $8 for this little pack, and there was more in here. There was like 8 or 10 different adapters that came in this little pack. But I'm obviously using them right now all over the place. And like I said, as I was setting up for this video, I was thinking, like, these are so awesome. I need to put these on the list, even if they weren't officially on the list, because these are a bunch of different adapters that, as you can see, if we just open this package up, they have for like a 1/4 inch thread, and then you can attach that if like you're trying to get onto like a 3/8 at the bottom. I know this is a 1/4, but like they have another 3/8 one if you need to get to a 3/8, but you have a 1/4 attachment. So essentially it's just adapters for all the different thread sizes that you might find with camera or especially audio mic equipment. These things for $8 are awesome, and I'm using most of them already, as you can see, and I might get another pack because it's just super useful to have if you do a lot of things with audio and with mics and with cameras and with funny little doohickeys. Like I have this rig set up, which you can't see, but anyways, that's the list. Hope you liked it. If not, thanks for watching some of it, I guess. Yeah, I'll probably make another video, something like this, with other items at some point, but like I said, these are 10 items, 11 items technically, that I use every single day, are well worth their money, and no matter how inexpensive or expensive they are, I think they're definitely worth purchasing. And like I said, I'll put links to everything in the bottom in the description so that you can find them if you want to purchase them as well. And if you don't, thanks for watching, and as always, have a good one. See you later. See you in the next one. Bye.